Hi, I'm Lawrence Braun, producer and director at Shambhala Studio, and we've been getting a lot of inquiries from members of our Shambhala community about some of the behind-the-scenes stories and things that have inspired us, events that have happened that maybe what we call out-of-the-box, unusual in our journey searching for the Lotus-Born Master and trying to decrypt the Dakini Code. One of the questions that came up recently was Heidi Bjorndal contacted us, and she was very curious. She saw that in some of our footage we have some robes and some particular Tara statue in a small silver case, which were been used in pilgrimages, particularly when Tibetans go, for long pilgrimages, they carry the shrine with them, often they carry it in their back. And so we were able to help her understand, because she had some of these things in her own personal collection, to understand what they are, the meaning of them, and what might be the karmic connection with her life. And she then contacted us again with another question. She wanted to know, at the end of our course, our 10-part course, what is the mantra or recitation being done? And so in that, there's a story, and she's asked to understand the story, so I thought I would just share it with everybody together. So some time ago, maybe it was more than a year ago, almost 2 years ago, one night I had another dream, and Guru Rinpoche, the Lotus-Born Master, appeared very clearly in the dream. And he said to me, there is a sadhana with a visualization of the 8 manifestations. It is a practice, and within this practice there's a specific mantra for the 8 manifestations. Now go find it. So again, I woke up and I contacted, of course, our research team began to look at it, but in Bhutan, this is where the real sort of kind of digging began. And we have a center, a Dharma center that we have established in Bhutan with Rinpoches there. And those Rinpoches will be doing later on live stream empowerments for people taking our course. And I asked them, I said, look, I've had this dream. What is this sadhana? What is it that we need to find? And they went looking. Within about a week, they gave me a particular prayer which covered the 8 manifestations. So I looked at this and I said, this is a really great prayer for the 10th day, or Rinpoche Day every month, but it's not what I dreamed. So can we all go back and keep looking, because it's not specifically what I was told. It needs a sadhana. It has a very specific practice, it has a very specific visualization for the 8 manifestations, and it has a specific mantra for the 8 manifestations, which is not the normal Ordo mantra. Despite it, we have a mission. So they went back looking, and sure enough, about a week to 10 days later, Tulku Rabge Rinpoche called me, and so we found something. This is a very specific sadhana that was uncovered by Dorje Minyor Rinpoche, and he is said to have received it through the direct emanation of Guru Padmasambhava, who also appeared before him. And this is a homage to Guru Padmasambhava's 8 manifestations. And it's very interesting because it covers all 8 visualizations. So when you practice this, you visualize yourself as the Guru, and then you visualize each of the manifestations carrying and going through you. And then, of course, there is a very specific mantra for the 8 manifestations. Umaho Maha Guru Fund. And this is the mantra that is very specific to the 8 as a whole. And it's an entire practice on its own. So I received the teaching and the transmissions, oral transmission, everything from Tulku Rabge Rinpoche in Bhutan, and then began practicing. I found this to be an amazing, powerful system in itself for full kind of Guru 8 manifestation practice. But then we thought, the sound of this is absolutely beautiful. So we found our favorite singer, Chime Wangmo in Bhutan, who has done so many of our songs for so many of our films. And I said, Chime, we've got to do this, okay? It's going to be fantastic for our next movie. And so Chime, also from Rinpoche, received all the transmission and everything, and she began to practice it as a practice, but then she melted into it as a music, and she, with her kind of chantress voice, we did a fantastic recording. And then around it, we started to build a music sequence with Rajan in Nepal and Rishi at our studio there. We began to combine rock and roll, like 1970s sounds, which is something that everybody in Kathmandu remembers. There was a time when, Kathmandu was a nexus of, sort of the counterculture movement as lamas were coming into Kathmandu from Tibet in the 60s and 70s. So it was really a confluence location. So these sounds everybody's very comfortable with. So we were starting to move rock and roll together with sitar and other instruments from the Himalayas, a little Bhutanese, Tibetan, and it's a compilation of all of these sounds together that are from the Himalayas, but also with this very strong 70s rock sound, which I really am very in tune with, because it is a counterculture. It is a voice erupting up against systems at that time. And in many ways, Guru Rinpoche's crazy wisdom was about deconstruction. We also had the Dada art movement once upon a time that was deconstructing things in order to reconstruct them again. And I think we're in a time of global chaos right now, where systems are coming down. Those systems have had their time, and we need new systems, because we talk about the age of Kali, the age of Shambhala. The age of Shambhala is an age upon us that we will bring upon us through our own awareness, and by creating alternative system to what we have now, something that's going to be a little bit more protective of the environment, protective of people, more human respect, and a little bit more balance in the economics. All of those things have to happen for our survival on this planet. And so we just thought it's time to bring in this rock and roll sound, but to do it with this cultural undercurrents that are very, very strong, because we are rooted in our culture here in the Himalayas. We're rooted in this very powerful force that underlies everything, that is both spiritual, magnetic, and also, we can say, the quantum field. And so Chime has done this. It's been used in our course series, because our course series is on the 8 manifestations in a 10-episode program to get people who've seen our documentaries deeper into an understanding of these 8 manifestations, the practices, the heritage, the culture, and of course the quantum physics behind it. How each manifestation in itself is a separate practice in the process of realization of one's own self and universal phenomena. All 8 gates to the mandala are there with the 8 manifestations. So the course, we started to use this music in it, but what we're really doing is we're saving that for our upcoming film. So this will be used in the music of our 3rd film. There's a whole kind of rock and roll story in that film that brings the teachings of the Lotus-Born Master into the present, so we can actually be seeing what's happening in the world today and how we can use this wisdom to change the algorithm. And we're waiting to work with Chime on a music video. So that will be coming soon. And together, as the Shambhala community, we will bring in the era of the Shambhala.